Trump faces impasse over Iran war. Senior U.S. counterterrorism official resigns to protest Iran war. Lebanon says Israel strikes on central Beirut kill at least 6. Israel says, killed Iran National Security Chief Ali Larijani, Basij Chief Gholam Reza Soleimani. U.S. President Donald Trump is facing growing pressure over the ongoing war with Iran, as questions emerge about the lack of a clear strategy or exit plan. Despite repeated claims that Iran has been significantly weakened by U.S. and Israeli strikes, the conflict continues with no clear end in sight. Iran has shown no indication that it is willing to surrender, and analysts say both sides would need to agree before the war can end. The situation has been further complicated by rising oil prices and the spread of violence across the Middle East, including attacks in Gulf countries and Iraq. The resignation of a senior U.S. counterterrorism official has also added to the pressure on the administration, highlighting internal disagreements over the war. Experts say the United States may not be able to achieve its objectives through military action alone. They suggest that a negotiated solution may be the most realistic path forward, allowing both sides to claim some form of success. However, diplomatic options appear limited, and it remains unclear when or how talks could begin. Meanwhile, some U.S. allies have distanced themselves from the conflict, with countries in Europe declining to support military efforts in the region. Analysts warn that without a clear strategy, the conflict could continue to escalate, increasing risks for the region and the global economy. A senior U.S. counterterrorism official has resigned in protest over the war involving the United States, Israel, and Iran. Joseph Kent, director of the National Counterterrorism Center, said in his resignation letter that he could not support the ongoing conflict. He argued that Iran did not pose an imminent threat to the United States and claimed the war was influenced by external pressure. Kent is the first senior official in the Trump administration to step down over the conflict. In response, President Donald Trump dismissed Kent's criticism, calling him weak on security and saying his departure was a positive move. The White House also rejected Kent's claims, stating that the decision to launch military action was based on strong evidence of a potential Iranian threat. Officials said the operation aimed to prevent an attack on the United States and protect national security. Kent's resignation highlights growing divisions within the U.S. government as the conflict in the Middle East continues. Israeli airstrikes on central Beirut have killed at least 6 people and injured more than 20 others, according to Lebanese authorities. The strikes hit residential apartments in densely populated areas early Wednesday, including the Zukak al-Blat and Basta neighborhoods. Lebanon's health ministry said the victims included civilians, and some remains will require DNA testing for identification. The attacks came without prior warning, raising concerns over civilian safety. Shortly after, the Israeli military issued a new evacuation warning for another area in central Beirut, signaling possible further strikes. Additional airstrikes were also reported in Beirut's southern suburbs and other parts of Lebanon, including near the coastal city of Sidon. Lebanon has been heavily affected since the conflict expanded earlier this month, with Israeli forces carrying out widespread strikes and ground operations. According to Lebanese officials, more than 900 people have been killed and over 1 million displaced since the escalation began. The situation continues to worsen, with growing fears of further escalation and humanitarian impact across the country. Israel says it has killed Iran's national security chief Ali Larijani in a recent strike, though Iran has not confirmed the claim. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz said Larijani was eliminated, calling it a major blow to Iran's leadership. Earlier, Israel also said it killed Gholam Reza Soleimani, a senior commander of Iran's Basij paramilitary force, in a strike on Tehran. The reported killings come amid continued airstrikes across the region, including in Iran and Lebanon. Explosions were reported in Tehran overnight, while Israeli strikes also targeted areas in Beirut linked to Hezbollah. The conflict has expanded across multiple countries, with Iran launching retaliatory attacks on U.S. and allied targets in the region. Tensions have also disrupted global energy markets, with the Strait of Hormuz largely affected by attacks on shipping. Meanwhile, the United States has called on its allies to help secure the waterway, but several countries have been reluctant to join the effort. The conflict continues to escalate, with no clear end in sight and growing concerns about its regional and global impact.